Assassin's Creed is a very interesting series. What started as an open world action game with a complex and fun parkour system, characters that meant something, a sci fi esque story against two opposing forces, the Assassins and the Templars, with a deep focus on story and narrative, has ended up as an RPG with a heavy focus on combat, massive worlds, less focus on parkour, and pretty much zero attention given on the actual conflict of said Assassins and Templars. Most of it comes from a game you might have heard of, released in 2017, Assassin's Creed Origins. Before this video starts, I just wanted to say that most of the gameplay you'll be watching is me just free roaming around. During my playthrough I didn't record much of the story or set pieces, but I will sprinkle a few clips and references throughout the video. Enjoy. Assassin's Creed has been on a decline for many years, and after the release of a pretty mediocre and forgettable Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Ubisoft had to go back to the drawing board and come up with something new, taking a year's break from their annual formula to do so. What came to be was Assassin's Creed Origins, a massive expansive game. This game would tell the story of the origins of the Assassin's Creed. Was it successful? Not really, but I won't be getting into the specifics of the story for this video. Rather, what AC Origins did to differ itself from the franchise and into a new era. For this game, you take control of Bayek of Siwa, a Magi, basically ancient warriors who protect the Pharaoh. After being betrayed, casted out, and having everything taken from him, Bayek sets on a journey of revenge. Since this video won't be going into immense detail on the story, let's focus on the difference between it and the AC franchise before. Origins changed the formula drastically, becoming an RPG first and an AC game second, taking more of a focus on melee combat than stealth. Now AC has a massive world full of areas to explore and monuments to gawk at, an intricate leveling system with enemy and weapon scaling. Is this good? Well, I think it is the natural progression for open world games in general, but to take the name of Assassin's Creed and strip down its core values doesn't make it very good at what it should be. In terms of gameplay, the combat system has been reworked and now focuses on combos and weapon choice. Honestly, this system is refreshing, and although I miss the old, almost turn-based approach to combat and its flashy animations, AC Origins does a good job of mixing style with fun, making you dodge, shoot, and smash people's heads in with no second thought, since enemies now all attack and need no wait time in between your assassin looking good while they rip and tear a boar soldier trying to do his job. It also has a somewhat steep learning curve, especially after playing older games, now having to learn endurance rather than timing, although that is still very important when fighting. New to the series is also your special ability, which now charges up adrenaline as you interact in combat. When full, it allows Bayek to go Super Saiyan and annihilates his enemies. These also change depending on weapon choice. Speaking of weapons, Bayek's arsenal now includes many diverse death sticks for all your killing needs. Those are also a necessity and allow different playstyles altogether. AC Origins switched up the formula slightly, allowing exploration in really large worlds. Ancient Egypt is massive and allows many hours of exploration, with cities, deserts, and thick marshlands with an acute focus on detail. Now you can take on Raider, Roman and Greek camps. Not just that, but you can find animal dens for hunting, tombs for exploration, interesting areas for looting, and many more. On the surface, this sounds great, but because of the sheer amount of locations, it becomes boring and repetitive. Not just that, but because all locations are marked on your map as a question mark, it disincentivizes exploration and rather makes it a chore. In saying that, finding these ancient cities, pyramids, and tombs can be quite magical, and that's something I don't experience often. Besides the negatives, it is amazing to explore this world, but one thing that makes it just a little harder. This section wasn't very hard to write. Parkour took a pretty big hit in Origins. On the surface, all the staples are here. You can climb, jump, maneuver on objects, and run on rooftops. But that's it. No, really, that's it. Something that made parkour what it was in AC was its paths. Parkour had an almost minigame feeling, risking your health for jumping areas and gaining verticality through perfectly placed objects to make getting from A to B easier. In Origins, everything is sluggish and most parkour routes don't exist. You have to climb up a building to begin and then, well, just run along it. Even this isn't good enough since most cities have huge gaps between areas, meaning that you have to jump down to start another parkour route. This issue becomes even worse while exploring. Literally every single time you're going to want to explore, it's probably better to just jump on the mountain, follow the road until you get to your destination. This is disappointing for a series where one of its main selling points is shamefully simplified to the absolute minimum and then designed to be useless. Really shows the direction Ubisoft are currently going. Since Origins is an origin story, I was expecting to learn where the roots began in the AC franchise and how the conflict started. Even so, I wasn't expecting it to be this bad. Without any spoilers, most of the game has pretty much nothing to do with the conflict and really is just Ubisoft shoving assassins in historical moments with not a lot of context. Until the very end, the Brotherhood isn't even a thought, and honestly, the Templars aren't given enough time to actually be explained. When was the last time you played an AC game where it was actually about assassins versus Templars? This series has been on the way to becoming a vessel to ship historical fantasies to the average gamer, and AC Origins was just the first game to do it properly, selling the ancient Egyptian fantasy. It's not as bad as Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but that's not for this video. Alright, I know this video has been sounding pretty negative, but I do want to say that I really enjoy Origins. The skill tree is interesting, the world is amazing and honestly kind of breathtaking. I enjoyed the story and the parkour didn't get to me too much. I have over 100 hours in Origins and I can say without a doubt that they were all enjoyable. I've skimmed through quite a lot in this video, but I didn't feel like I needed to do a full review/retrospective, rather show AC Origins as the first game to start the departure of the series and its tenets, but I am hopeful. Ubisoft took a risk, and even though it wasn't the most accepted change, the game is still loved and cherished by many. Let's just hope that the next AC game after Valhalla can fix the issues Origins started. Sometimes all it takes is a leap of faith.